Hi everybody, welcome to the Search Buzz video recap. My name is Barry Schwartz. Today is July 17th, Friday. This is the weekly Search Buzz video recap, which we cover the week's news from what we covered over at SEOroundtable.com, the Search Engine Roundtable, which again discusses the most popular and most discussed topics that we found over at the various search forums on the internet. I hope you like that intro, something new we came up with. I'll play it again right after I introduce this thing, and if you do have any comments about the intro, let me know. Otherwise, we'll get started right away. So, busy business past 12 hours. So today, it's Friday morning. It's about 9:30 right now, 5 minutes before the stock market's going to open. Google announced earnings last night. In the pre-market trading, as of a few minutes ago, Google was down in the pre-market about, I think, 2 or 3%. They didn't meet expectations. They grew the revenue about 3%. I don't know what over time frame, maybe over last year. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at that closely. There is a lot of discussion about it on TechMeme, and Greg Sterling over at Search Engine Land did write a lot of notes about the company. In addition, Yahoo and Microsoft are supposedly back at it. Supposedly they're close to completing a search deal. This is obviously not the first time we actually discussed this. This has been going on for, I think, at least 2 years now. It's been a while. And I personally don't like talking about it anymore, just because if it happens, great, it will happen, and we'll see how that will impact SEOs. If it doesn't happen, then it's not going to change anything right now. Right now, Microsoft is pretty focused on Bing, so I'm not really sure what these deals would lead to. So that's the other news. Meanwhile, there's been a lot of Twitter news over the past 24 hours or so. Basically what happened was somebody gained access to several Twitter accounts, not the Twitter accounts, but employees' emails and stuff through using some type of generic password. What happened was this hacker then took that information and sent it to several publications, including TechCrunch. TechCrunch looked at all that data and decided eventually to publish some of that data, which basically leaked a lot of the Twitter financial news or business that's going on internally. So supposedly they had conversations with Microsoft, supposedly they had conversations with Google, both on acquisition deals, and also search ad deals, how to beat Google and stuff like that. So there's a lot of very sensitive data in those emails that were communicated back and forth. It's possible that Twitter might go ahead and sue for TechCrunch or other people for posting stolen, internal memos. So it's fairly sad as well as interesting to actually read these notes. TechCrunch has the full details on their website, but Matt McGee over at Search Engine Land posted stuff that's specifically related to the search industry. So if you want to just read that, you can. Again, this is fairly sad news. Personally, I probably would never have published that even if I would have access to it. But TechCrunch and some of the new publications get their news stories from that, and that's where they make their money. Thankfully, the Search Engine Roundtable is not the bread and butter for myself, and I don't have to make those kind of decisions, but it was a fairly busy past 12 hours in terms of the Google announcements, in terms of their earnings, Yahoo and Microsoft back at it at the table, and Twitter and how their internal memos were leaked and how those relate to Google acquisitions or Microsoft deals or whatever it might be. Since we're talking about Microsoft and Yahoo back at the table, I did a poll a couple weeks ago asking, do our readers feel that Yahoo could actually turn things around? Yahoo's in a pretty bad state right now in terms of search. I did do a post at Search Engine Land just yesterday, basically saying that Yahoo still dominates the web. They are number one in finance, they're number one in answers, they're number one in sports, they're number one in so many different online categories, just not search. Search, they are number two, which is not bad, but they are a distant number two to Google. So I did a poll asking our readers several weeks ago if they feel that Yahoo could turn things around in the search field. 60% of our readers felt that Yahoo has no chance in turning things around, meaning they have no chance to compete against Google or even Microsoft in the future. So our poll is posted on July 14th at SEOroundtable.com. If you want to see more details, definitely go ahead. 60% said no, they can't turn things around. 33% said yes, they can. And 7% had other responses, which basically said, I doubt Yahoo can, but I'm not sure. In search news, it seems like that Google actually made some changes to their image search filter. I'm seeing several reports. First report came from Webmaster World from somebody named Zeus, that's his alias, and he pretty much tracks the Google image search often. He said that Google has made some big improvements to how they previously handled the filter, and he's seeing a lot of images that were wrongly associated with being part of the safe search filter, obviously, which means adult content, is no longer classified as such. So we definitely posted about this. This supposedly happened July 12th, July 13th or so. So if you didn't notice an increase or decrease in your image search rank traffic from Google, this is probably why. I recently saw other people post saying that their images are wrongly associated, so that's coming up again. So maybe Zeus saw on his sites that they were finally fixed, but some other people are noticing false positives on their side. So hopefully you're not too impacted by this. Again, July 13th at SEOroundtable.com. July 16th, yesterday, we posted about how Google's John Mueller over who works in the Google Webmaster Trends team, Webmaster Central, he basically gave his blessing to image replacement techniques. What that means is, let's say you have a header for a title of a page, and you want that to be a pretty graphic. There are several ways to basically communicate to Google that graphic is actually text. So for search engine purposes, you don't want a graphic because search engines cannot necessarily read what that graphic is. Obviously, there's an alt tag, but the alt tag is only worth so much. What a lot of SEOs do is they'll actually post CSS replacement technique to either say where the words, let's say it's web design is my header, where web design should be replaced by this header. And they'll use CSS include to make that possible. And that's one technique. There's also an SIFR replacement technique, which is basically a flash alternative, which dynamically reads the text and replaces each letter with a flash alternative, which is pretty easy and quick to use. And Google basically said this is okay if it's matching exactly the text in the graphic. Matt Cutts posted a video maybe a few weeks ago saying that you should not use CSS replacement techniques for logos, even though Google does it themselves. I think he was talking specifically about logos because logos typically just say the logo, the company name, or it has just a picture of the company logo. But again, I agree. I think that if you're using image replacement techniques to replace text that is actually text as a graphic, it's not a picture of a dog and you write like dog in it, it's a picture of words, then I think it's fine. There's a lot of comments about this and discussion around it. If you want more information about this and how these techniques work, look at July 16th at SEOroundtable.com. Time and time again, we discuss Google's site command. It's basically the site : www.domain.com. It basically shows you how many pages of that domain are included in the Google indexed. But Google keeps saying, relatively recently, that you should not rely on that site command because that could be an approximation and it could be totally off. John Moo said this again just a few days ago. He says focusing on that site query as an approximation is probably something you shouldn't be doing. It won't lead to useful results, he says. It won't lead to useful results. Again, what I did was I looked at the site command for the main domain we have, www.seroundtable.com, and Google returned to me 17,000 pages or so. When I looked at Google Webmaster Tools, I only saw Google indexed just under 10,000 unique URLs on the site. So there's obviously a 7,000 page difference between what Google Webmaster Tools shows and what the site command shows in Google's front end, which is right. Again, Google's telling you don't use that, use Webmaster Tools. So again, it's not that important for site visibility and site, friendliness in terms of search engines. You probably do want to look at the Webmaster Tools because that's probably more accurate. But at the same time, there are probably other methods you could use to capture this type of data, such as querying Google specific keywords for every page and see how you rank and if they're indexed. There are a lot of reports this week that July 2009 earnings were down. We actually ran a poll asking our readers if that is the case, and let me see if I could get the results on my iPhone. We have about 86 responses, and 31% said that their earnings are way down from the previous month. 20% said it's down, but not way down. 22% said there's no real change, 19% say it's up, and 8% say it's way up. So it's a pretty drastic slide of people who are saving it. But overall, it seems like more people are saying their earnings are down from last month to this month with their AdSense earnings. Earlier this month, we posted a poll asking people how addicted are our readers to links, and we asked them to rate their addiction based on a certain scale. So we have the results, pretty interesting. Let me just tell you, overall, 46% of those who responded I would classify as active link builders. So let me just break down the results for you. 32%, the highest number, said they hate link requests. So those people obviously hate them, and I assume they don't do them because they hate them. They might hate them and do them, but I'll take an assumption that if they hate them so much, they don't do link requests. 21% said they actually dream about links. If you dream about something, you're fairly addicted, I would say. 13% say they do link acquisitions weekly. I would think weekly is an active type of thing. And 12% said they do daily link requests. So daily is 12%, weekly is 13%, and then 21% say they dream about it, which probably equals about 46% of people are actually actively doing link building, which I would say doesn't make them addicted, but I would say probably the 21% who dream about it and the 12% who do it daily are addicted. And 4% said, what is a link? I think they were probably joking, but overall, 46% of the SEOs that read our blog are active link builders. I would say at least 21% are addicted to link building, and maybe add another 12% on who are also addicted to link building. Since we're talking about link building, there was a neat article over at CNET called Link Exchanges, the Poor Man's SEO. Basically what happened was CNET received an email from a link exchange person, basically sent one of those generic emails saying, I want to exchange links with you, would you exchange links with me? CNET actually took that opportunity to actually interview this SEO who does these link exchanges, and not only did this SEO get this SEO, I don't know if he got the link exchange, but what he did get was this article with links to his different clients' websites, clean links from CNET, from news.com. So he got an incredible amount of link weight from doing this article, basically talking about how link exchanges and what their value is. The article is pretty good in terms of explaining that, and I think it's pretty dead on. But you could definitely discuss this more if you like and look at it. But I find it funny how a link exchange email not just led to a link exchange, but it actually led to him getting a huge article on news.com's domain with several links to his websites and his clients. If you want to learn more about that, July 15th at SEOroundtable.com. Here's another poll for you regarding link building probably as well. DMOZ, the Open Directory project, is a place that a lot of SEOs and website owners actually submit their site to. DMOZ has been around for a long time, not as long as Yahoo Directory, but it's been around for a long time. It's one of the largest volunteer directories out there, and people usually submit their site there to get their site started in terms of building links. So we polled our audience asking them, how important is DMOZ to you? And the responses were 63% said, I submit once and then forget about it. So obviously they go through the process of submitting their site to DMOZ, and once they submit it, they never go back. They'll just leave it, and if it gets accepted, great. If not, not. 20% actually said they don't even bother submitting at all. 16% said they actually submit and then will follow up to make sure that goes through. So that's a pretty big response rate. We had about 200 responses, almost 250 responses to this. Again, 63% said they submit once and forget about it. 20% said they don't submit at all, and 16% said they submit and follow up. I just wanted to wish Spin, SPHINN, a happy birthday. It's now 2 years old. They launched on July 12, 2007. It's been a pretty active and a pretty unique new community for SEOs to go to. It's basically a dig for search for SEOs, and it's now 2 years old. And on their 2-year-old birthday, on their second birthday, they actually launched a Spin version 2.0. The 2.0 has a new, cleaner look, has better moderation and spam controls, and has a lot more features which we discussed. So if you want to take a look and wish them a happy birthday, you can definitely do so. We have a post about it on July 14th at SEOroundtable.com. Happy birthday, Spin. Thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the news we brought to you from the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com over the past week. This is July 17th, Friday edition. Everyone have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.